time for this. I'm busy trying to figure out who the villain is going to be for this season of Doctor Who. I don't have time to watch old episodes. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to You Know Who. I'm your host, Brian Heinz. Well, the new season continues, and for once it looks like we're getting away from this season's high fantasy elements and back to good old pure sci-fi. In the real world, ambulance takes you to hospital. In alien world, ambulance takes you to morgue. In real world, landmine blows you up. In alien world, landmine blows you up, but in different way. Alien way. In real world, doctor saves lives. In alien world, doctor gets life saved. What a planet! Thank you. This is Boom. Two soldiers are slowly crossing a battlefield. The one with his eyes bandaged communicates with his daughter as they cross a minefield. He signs off with a kiss-kiss. The sighted soldier is worried. There might be an ambulance nearby. Back at the Army's base camp, Officer Mundy is trying to trade shifts with her buddy Canto. Splice, the blinded officer's daughter, calls Mundy away and chastises her. Canto likes her. She should be nice to him. Back in the minefield, the officers do spot an ambulance, which seems to be some sort of impractically designed yet still mobile machine. Gee, never seen one of those in this show before. At least these ones aren't screaming exterminate. The sighted soldier is worried the ambulance will detect the other officer's injury. He goes ahead to scout but falls down a slope. Upon picking himself up, he accidentally steps on a landmine. Today we mourn Carson. We never learned if that was his first name or his last name. Maybe it was his only name. Regardless, he died as he would have wanted to, with a fabulous glow-up. Yes, Queen! The detonation activates the ambulance, a medical droid with the projected face of an elderly woman. It identifies the blinded soldier as John Francis Vader. His recovery time from blindness is 4 weeks. That's outside acceptable limits. The ambulance allows him to record a final message for his next of kin, his daughter Splice. Kiss, kiss. It pumps energy into the officer, causing him to scream. The doctor, upon hearing the scream, bolts from the TARDIS, running to help. What color was the landmine? What difference does that make? Well, depending on the color, he may be in one spot or several. Alright, you try making landmines funny. They're absolutely horrible. Ruby exits the TARDIS looking for the doctor, eventually hearing him singing. Oh! He's on a landmine! She describes it to him with green lights around the disk's perimeter that have not completely filled up yet. That means the computer's trying to decide if he's a real person or not. It won't detonate until that entire perimeter fills completely green. The V on the mine is the brand name of the company that made it, Villainguard. They supply weapons to both sides of wars and make a remarkable profit. He sends Ruby to find whoever screamed, and to find a rock. He needs a counterweight so he can put his other leg down. She finds a weird, fleshy tube with John Vader's info on it. A moment later, drones fly over, removing the smoke, and Ruby is stunned. It's her first alien landscape, and it takes her breath away.
It flips his stomach, doesn't it? A brand new sky.
The doctor recognizes what she's carrying. A human body, reshaped and compressed for convenience of disposal. He wants her to toss him the casket, but she won't. That's too risky. They argue, but Ruby's holding all the cards, and after a tense moment, successfully hands the urn to the doctor. This lets him lower his leg. Upon the doctor reading his name out loud, the casket projects a hologram of Vader. This is an AI representation of the deceased. He explains he was terminated when his recovery time was deemed unacceptable by the algorithm. As Villainguard AIs use an algorithm to determine if saving a life is cost-effective. If not, the soldier is put down. As the AI disappears with a kiss-kiss, Splice appears on the ridge. She came looking for Daddy. Where is he? She heard him. Ruby tackles her. She really just takes this little kid down. Then forces Splice to look at the doctor and see that he's standing on a landmine. The doctor starts to glow. Yes, he always says that's je ne sais quoi, but he glows like the guy who blew up earlier. He has to calm himself down. Just then, Monday shows up waving a rifle around looking for Splice. As she tries to get to the bottom of this, she gets a call from Canto. They need to come back to base, and quickly. They think the aliens are finally planning an attack. The Doctor inquires as to just who their enemy is. The Castarians. Right. The Doctor asks, where are they? Well, they think the aliens are in the mud. Or the fog. Or, and hear me out, the fog is mud. Yeah, because the phrase, here's mud in your eye, only works if mud is at eye level. And mud is rarely at eye level, but fog is. Yeah, but Big Brother doesn't want you to know about this. We're through the looking glass, people. Monday orders him to drop that casket. He can't. It doesn't matter that doing so will set off the landmine. When he stepped on it, it began a countdown. Eventually, it will detonate. The Doctor asks Monday how the mine works. It triggers a quantum-level chain reaction in the DNA of the stepper on her. But since he's a Time Lord and not human, it means a larger, more destructive explosion. Mandy shoots his arm with several energy bolts, but he won't drop the casket. But this does catch the ambulance's attention. It arrives, but can't make sense of the Doctor's DNA. And he begs someone to get rid of it before it aggravates him and sets off the explosion. Ruby grabs Monday's rifle. She'll fire it off and distract the ambulance with violence. Monday wants Ruby to shoot her in the arm. A small injury like that will grab the ambulance's attention, but just as Ruby's about to fire, Canto arrives and, thinking he's doing the right thing, shoots Ruby to save Monday. The ambulance springs into action, attaching diodes to the dying companion and reading her DNA. She is Ruby Sunday, over 3,000 years old. But as it tries to match her to someone, it fails. It can't name her family. And as this happens, snow begins to fall. Ruby has less than 7 minutes to live. Okay, synchronized watches. Oh, I don't have a watch. I have a smartphone. Oh, what time zone are we in? And does the 7 minutes start now, or should we factor in the time we've already spent discussing it all? Oh. Buddy? And then I said, well, I'm not even going to the funeral until I know what the Admiral is wearing. Then Liz said, oh. The Doctor is losing control of his vital signs and the mine inches closer to destruction. Monday begs the Doctor, what should they do? Surrender. If they lose this war, the landmine will disarm. When the army arrived on this barren planet, this activated the Villain Guard algorithm and kept casualty rates at acceptable levels and kept selling weaponry to this army. But there were no aliens. They're made up. Just an excuse for this army to land, start a conflict, and buy weapons that end up killing their own people at a rate designed to keep them buying more. He asks John the AI to hack the Villain Guard database and provide proof that this war is imaginary. The AI won't do it, but he appeals to the little bit of John left in that computer programming. You're a father. And you don't let your kids down. The AI downloads into the ambulance, but they only have 3 minutes before the Doctor explodes, and however many minutes Ruby has left, we've kind of sidelined her. Canto's trying to hack the ambulance, and Money questions why did he come after her. He likes her, of course. She's the only one who didn't know it. The ambulance activates its defenses, and a shock blows Monday and Canto back.
Are you injured?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm okay. Just shock.
A recorded message plays for Monday. Canto admits he loves her, and it's okay if she doesn't feel the same way. Monday can only cry. Suddenly, they're surrounded by ambulances, but something is affecting their programming. John's AI has corrupted the ambulance AI, but the other ambulances have detected him. 10-second countdown. Suddenly, they're surrounded by ambulances, but something is affecting their programming. John's AI hacked into the ambulance AI. The ambulance has detected him. 10-second countdown.
I'm so sorry, Ruby.
3.
I'm so sorry.
2. 1. Kiss. Kiss.
But John's AI overtakes the ambulance. It turns to Ruby and revives her. The Doctor steps off the landmine, now all green. They make their goodbyes. He's sorry for Splice's death, but it's okay. He's not gone, only dead. This was a close one, but death is important. It makes you appreciate living. The TARDIS dematerializes, leaving behind a single flake of snow. Better known as a snowflake. Is it the Supreme Intelligence? Because all this snow is giving me Richard E. Grant vibes. I guess we'll find out who the villain is eventually. Oh, sorry. Well, anyway. This is the episode that finally brings sci-fi back to this sci-fi show. Killer ambulances in a convenient Dalek-like form? Check. Squished up human bodies with AI versions of their dead selves? Check. Mud aliens? Okay, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. This episode clearly had a business bad message, but I'm glad they didn't shove it down our throats. It really only came up when the Doctor was explaining the pointlessness of war to Mundy. The acting in this one was okay. This episode wasn't really character-driven per se. It was more about setting up and sustaining a sense of tension. Having the Doctor save the day while not moving from one spot. I felt Shooty's best work here came when the Doctor sees Ruby roll down that hill seemingly dead. He's emoting so much while not saying or doing anything. Shooty had to tone down everything that's been pouring out of the Doctor and give a much more subtle performance. He was still the Doctor, but tapped down. Controlling all that excitement that normally bubbles over, lest it literally kill him. And as for the rest of the cast, they were fine. But the standout here was Varada Sethu, who played Mundi. I really felt like she had something to work with, given the flirtatious, but let's be honest, also transactional relationship she had with Kanto. Everyone else was more or less reacting to the moment, but Mundi had some emotional beats to play with, and I thought she did a great job. I don't know, the actress that cast her Splice seemed a little too old to be in that overly enthusiastic daddy phase, but I won't nitpick that character. Also, Miley can't do desperate very well. She came off more incredulous, like she wasn't really worried, more upset. Also, that scene where she's on the ground dying, yeah. Otherwise, Ruby was fine. They keep building the mystery, now the snow stopped. Because snow isn't snow if it doesn't fall. What? Alright. Hey, I'm glad to see the sci-fi element shine through on this episode. As I've mentioned in the past, this season so far has felt more like fantasy through a sci-fi lens. But killer mobile ambulances, vacuum-packed corpses, alien landscapes, this was proper sci-fi. But this episode was less plot, less mystery, and more of a mood piece, living and dying on the tension building up around the Doctor being in immediate mortal danger. Now, I've been talking about homages this season, maybe that petered out in this episode, but for whatever reason I kept thinking about The Beast Below with Matt Smith's 11th Doctor. Both episodes featured killer machines in a case with only a face exposed. Also, an entire world society caught up in some great lie about their existence. It's probably unintentional, but there you go. So that's it for now, my friends. Hey, be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and click the bell for notifications. It's not just the Doctor who has to fight against an evil algorithm. And be sure to check out my Patreon page. It's patrons like you who help these videos get made. Until next time, my friends, this is You Know Who, and I'm your host, Brian Heinz.